Hello there. I'm just going to introduce today a video on the sex and abuse series, and it's going to be particularly looking at the narcissistic male in the dynamic as far as sex and abuse is concerned. And of course there's much that could be said about narcissism today, and a lot is being said about narcissism. But we need to understand, as far as our safe relationship training is concerned, that it's not so much about understanding the origin of narcissism, although that can be interesting. It's about how to take care of ourselves in the process if we find ourselves involved with a narcissist. And quite often we do not realise that we're involved with a narcissist until we've come out, because the dynamic can be so intense, as it were, which is not normally the case with a healthy person. So with the narcissistic male, we often get some bizarre, if you like, behaviour that creeps in over time, especially after the switch has occurred. And the switch is a change in behaviour that happens with abusive individuals. The change generally happens after a commitment of some sort, and that commitment could be a sleeping together, it could be moving in together, it could be marriage, it could be a child that has been born, because that solidifies all those aspects, solidifies the relationship even more generally. And so the abuser becomes more complacent, they become more secure, because they don't believe that the victim is going anywhere, because they feel as if they've got them embedded strongly in the dynamic and in the relationship, which means that they feel free to up the ante, to increase the abusive behaviour. So if we want to take care of ourselves in our safe relationship training, we want to understand the dynamic rather than the origin. We can understand the origins, but it's more important, in my personal opinion, to focus on what we do in the dynamic itself, should we find ourselves there. So today we're looking at abuse and the male narcissist as far as sex is concerned. And as with every other part of the dynamic, which increases over time, also in the sexual arena there may be change, whereby the narcissistic abuser starts to introduce some more sexual dynamics that the victim may not be comfortable with. And having been groomed already into the relationship, that is, groomed to fulfill the narcissist's needs, which is part of the narcissistic grooming process, then they are able to introduce whatever behaviour they want to, because they believe that because part of the grandiosity is believing that the victim would never want to leave them, because they're so amazing, and everything has been so amazing in that initial period when you're sucked in. So the other abusive dynamics that have been going on, the emotional and psychological and spiritual abuse, etc., has paved the way for this sexual abuse to be introduced. And that could be done in a number of ways. Again, through the grooming process, words can be used, particularly in the sexual act, in that sexual situation, where words can be introduced to get the victim to lower their guard even further, and then to be able to introduce slowly sexual abuse, so that the victim will take it and accept it gradually along the way. until it increased in intensity. She feels as if she's being compromised. She feels as if her identity is being whittled away, which it generally is, because the identity of the victim is moulded to fit the abuser's needs. And so the more power she hands over, then the less of herself she feels that she has, because she hasn't been standing her ground and saying no. And more likely than not, if she had said no, he would have walked away, because they must have things on their terms. They must be in control, and they must be in control of the victim as well. So the sexual abuse comes in possibly slowly and builds up over time to where she's doing things that she never thought that she would do. And she's compromising herself to such an extent that she doesn't feel as though she knows herself anymore. Self-esteem is affected, self-confidence is affected, and because of the gaslighting, her ability to trust herself has also been affected. And you need all those skills in order to be able to lead the situation. And so the sexual abuse is another degrading act, a type of perversion that he wants to bring in, which takes her out of her own comfort zone, destabilizes her further, takes her off balance. She feels all over the place at the end of the day, doesn't know what's going on because of the games are increasing. And so it's no wonder that the victim of a male narcissistic abuser finds it difficult to get out. So conscious awareness is key, becoming conscious of what is happening and remaining in that zone, remaining conscious, building on that awareness of what you have that's happening, boundarying yourself within the situation so that you're able to maintain your soul, maintain your strong spiritual connection with Source, and maintain your ability to self-empower and to be able to get out when you're able to safely, and to not fall into the dynamic of absolutely giving up everything that you are in order to fulfill these needs on whatever level. So as always, stay safe and very happy. Bye-bye.